Hey guys, welcome to tonight's Big Brother 18 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Randy S. Hi, Randy! Thanks so much for your support on Patreon. I hope you're having a great day. And if you guys want to be house guest of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Alright, so let's just dive right in. I'm really sad that the Olympics are over, but anyway. Yesterday, Natalie and James were having a strategy chat in the HOH room, and Natalie was like, hey, I think Michelle wants to get rid of Nicole this week. What gave you that impression? She's only been saying it since Friday morning. But anyway, she's like, Jamesy, don't tell Nicole and Corey that though, because I don't want it to get back to Michelle and then it could cause problems. Too late. James already went ahead and told Nicole and Corey that Michelle was all like, I want Nicole out. So that cat's out of the bag, but she doesn't know it yet, and he's like, oh no, I won't tell her. Okay, so then Natalie is like, after this is all said and done and Victor's gone, she wants to pretend that she had no idea that Victor was going this week. I just don't understand how people are supposed to believe that, because, I mean, really, why, like, in what world would James make a huge game decision like that, voting out Victor, and Natalie not knowing about it? I mean, we've seen what's happened so far in this game. How could that be possible? But anyway, she wants to play it off like she had no idea, and James is like, yeah, that's fine. I'll take all the heat for it. So then they're planning out the rest of their game, and next week they would like to see Nicole or Corey win HOH and then take out Paul. And then they're going to win the following HOH and get rid of Corey. So they want Corey or Nicole to do their dirty work, and then they're just going to cut them. Which is different than what we've heard thus far. You know, recently they've been saying, you know, Final Four with the two showmances, and then they battle it out. But they're over that now. They're going to use those two to get rid of Paul and Victor, and then they're going to clip them. So that would leave Natalie and James in the Final Four with Meech and Nicole. Which is interesting, because before James was all like, Paul and Victor think that they're going to go to the Final Five with the three girls. But now he's trying to go to Final Four with the three girls. So anyway, they're also talking about when they're going to be telling certain people that Victor's going home, if they're going to tell people. So, I mean, the main people in question here, you got Victor and Paul. Will they tell them? And then also Michelle, because they don't want to lose her over this vote. So they're thinking, we will tell Michelle ahead of time that James is voting out Victor, but they want to wait until like Thursday morning to do it. So, you know, they're also saying like we have to at least wait until after the power veto ceremony so that Michelle doesn't get pissed and put James up on the block. So they're hoping that Nicole is going to be the replacement nominee, because then they have like, they're going to be able to justify easily getting rid of Victor over Nicole, because, you know, it's one thing to get rid of Victor against Corey, but, like, to get rid of him against Nicole, that just makes more sense. Like, Nicole sucks at competitions. Let's be real. She hasn't, you know, shown a lot of strength in competitions. So they're saying, why would we keep a competition beast like Victor over Nicole when we can just, you know, get rid of that and keep Nicole? But then if you got Corey up on the block against Victor, it's a little bit more even. So they're hoping that Nicole is going to be going up. And then, last but not least, James was pleading to America to give Corey the next care package instead of Paul. Gross. Moving on. Paul and Victor were trying to figure out how they can both stay this week. They think there's still a chance. They don't realize just how tight the two showmances have become at this point. So they don't want Nicole on the block because, you know, same reasoning here. They don't think that Victor's going to have a chance to stay against Nicole. So they want to see Corey up next to him. You know that James is not even an option, so just get that out of your head. So Paul is stressing to Victor, you need to be the last person to talk to Michelle before the power veto ceremony. You know she's easily swayed. You need to get in there at the right time and really sell it. So then they're talking about their plan for next week. If they're both there, win the HOH, put up James and Natalie, and then vote out James. So it's the same thing that we heard in yesterday's spoiler. Alright, so then Victor and Michelle are chatting in the safari room, and he's like, Michelle, I know you want to put up Nicole this week, but that's really gonna F up our games. Me especially, because I'm gonna be voted out. There's no way that James is gonna keep me over Nicole. It's just not gonna happen. And then when I'm gone, it's kind of gonna suck for you because you're gonna have all those showmancies fighting it out in the HOH with Paul. He's the only other person outside of that besides you. And he's, you know, the only one who's gonna be playing in the HOH against them. So, like, is that really what you want? So, sorry. So then he's like, if you put up Corey, we can get rid of him this week. There's more of a chance that he'll go. And then Nicole will be easy to get rid of next week. So she's, you know, she's listening. She seems receptive to this, but no commitment either way in that conversation. So then Michelle, Natalie, and James were up in the HOH room, and Natalie's like, is Victor okay? I know you were talking to him, like, what's the vibe? So Michelle's like, yeah, he's fine, it's whatever. So then Michelle was like, James, I'm gonna be really sad if you vote out Victor. And James is just like, no, what? Who'd you hear that from? I'm not voting out Victor. Wow. So then they ask Michelle, who are you gonna put up on the block in Paul's place? And she's just like, I'm not sure yet. I haven't had a chance to talk to Corey and Nicole yet. I haven't been able to get them alone. So James is like, well, you should do whatever you want to do. It's your decision. Don't let other people sway you. And he's really talking about Paul, because Paul has been pushing hardcore for Corey to go up on the block, and James, of course, would like to see Nicole go up. So he's like, it's your decision. Like, do what you want. So then they have more game chat, and they all agree that Paul is playing very aggressively right now. Again, they're bringing up him pushing for Corey to go up. They don't like it. And Natalie was all like, he made me study all night for that power veto competition. God forbid you're prepared for a competition, but whatever. So then James and Natalie are saying they're worried about keeping Paul and Victor together in the house. Obviously, they'll be good at competitions, but also they feel like the guys would keep Nicole over the two of them if it came down to it, because she'd be easier for them to beat. And Michelle's like, I don't know. I think they're going to be loyal to the five. They seem really genuine. They seem really into keeping this group together. And James is like, well, if we do get to the final five with them, they're going to win all of the rest of the competitions to the end. Those two are going to make it to the final too. So then he's bringing up how people watching the show are going to think that they're stupid if they keep Victor. Yo, just play the freaking game. Don't worry about what everybody else is thinking, because you don't even know half the stuff that's going on. So then Michelle thinks, you know, maybe they're underestimating Nicole. She's kind of, you know, accepting their arguments about Victor and kind of moving over to that side, but at the same time, she's still like, you know, Nicole can win competitions. Maybe she's been throwing them. Like, you don't want to underestimate her and have her slide through to the end. So they're like, no, I think we'll just get rid of Victor. But anyway, Michelle finally gets her chance to talk to Nicole and Corey, and she's like, which one of you turds wants to go up on the block? She didn't actually call them turds, but you know. So she's telling them, obviously I can't put up James because that would be really upsetting for Natalie, so it's gonna have to be one of you guys. And she's telling them James is gonna be the deciding vote this week, because obviously Paul is gonna vote to keep Victor, and whichever one of you isn't on the block is going to vote for, you know, the other one. So it's gonna come down to James, so take that into consideration when you make your decision here. Because he might want to take out Victor, he might not. So Nicole and Corey are just like, do whatever you want, like, it's your choice. So this should be a huge red flag for Michelle, that these two are not worried and they're not like caring who goes up on the block. I mean, wouldn't that automatically tell you that they struck some sort of deal with Natalie and James? Michelle should be freaking out about that, because she's on the outside of like a 4-person showmance group. So then James and Michelle were chatting, and they're talking about who should go this week, and Michelle's like, honestly, I don't want to see Nicole or Paul make it far in this game. I feel like we're at the point where everybody left has made it far. But anyway, she means she doesn't want to see them make it to like Final 4, Final 2, whatever. So James is saying, well, we can't get rid of Paul this week, obviously, but we can get rid of Victor, and Victor will always protect Paul, so, you know, we may as well cut that off, and then we can go for Paul next week, or whatever. So James is like, we've got a big buck on the block this week. It would be a huge risk to keep him. We should strike while we have the chance. And he's saying, like, yeah, it sucks because we all love Victor on a personal level, but we need to think strategically what the best move is. So he's arguing finally to Michelle's face that they should vote out Victor this week. And Michelle's like, well, I guess I'm fine with it. So she's like kind of coming around. So then James tells Natalie Meech is on board. So Natalie's like, that's great. So then she says we need to keep Michelle close, make sure she's comfortable, because she doesn't want her to see the two showmances working together and freak out. And Natalie is saying that she actually wants them to bring Michelle to the final 3. So, I mean, that's, you know, it's interesting that they were all gung-ho about the showmances going to the final 4 together, and now they're saying, no, we're going to take Michelle to the final 3. So then James is like, yeah, Victor was saying before that he would want to know if he's going home, and he would be okay with that and respect it. So he plans on telling Victor on Wednesday that he's voting him out. We'll see if that actually happens. Then, okay, this is really interesting, guys. This is like Big Brother scandal. So last night, it was like at least 3:45 in the morning, I want to say. It might have been a little bit after. Nicole is called to the diary room. And after she comes out, she immediately goes to the HOH room where everybody's hanging out except for Corey. And she's like, James, we're in trouble. So she's like, I have to say this on camera that I will not give you something nice, James. So everyone's just like, what? What are you talking about? So what she's saying is, like, if she wins the whole season, she's not allowed to share the prize money or, like, give James a big gift. Because earlier in the day, Nicole and James were talking about how if they win, they're going to give each other, like, $10,000 or something, and they're going to give money to Natalie and Corey also. So that group of 4, they want to give them some prize money, which is not allowed on this show. So you're not allowed to split your prize money with other people, and you're not allowed to use it as strategy. So that's a big no-no. So it was like really awkward in the HOH room when everybody figured out what was going on here. So then James gets called to the diary room, and Victor and Michelle are just like, this is super sketchy. So they're asking, like, is she trying to get a vote from James? Like, what's going on here? So it was, like, really awkward how Nicole said it in front of everybody. It was crazy. So then this morning, Paul was talking to the live feeders. He had some friendship chat time. And he was like, guys, I know what's up. I know that I was a target this week. And this whole plan has been to get rid of me all along. But I won the power veto, so suck it. But, you know, he's worried for Victor because he's saying there's a pretty good chance that they're going to be voting him out, and he's right. So he's telling America, I really, really need the care package. Even if Victor is still here, they're going to need to beast it out. So then they had the power veto ceremony today. Paul used it on himself as expected, and Michelle put up Corey in his place. So it's going to be either Corey or Victor leaving on Thursday. So then after the ceremony, Paul and Victor regroup. They need to figure out how they're going to pull this off, if they can. So they decide, Paul, you need to sit the F down and lay low for a little bit. Because they realize, you know, he's ruffling some feathers right now. He's being a little too aggressive. And that's really going to hurt Victor. And it's going to look bad if Paul is campaigning hardcore for Victor, because it's just going to show even more how tight of a duo they are. So he's like, Paul, take a seat. And Paul's like, understood. Victor's going to keep being nice to everyone. He's going to keep cleaning. And then he's going to try to work the sympathy angle with Michelle and Natalie. He knows they're both very emotional players. And no, they're not voting this week, but, you know, what Natalie says, James does. So if he can convince Natalie, then he'll probably get that vote from James. So then, speaking of James, Victor wants to ask him straight up, are you keeping me this week? And he's going to say, if you lie to me and you say that I'm staying and then I go home, I'm obviously going to know it's because you flipped, and you're not going to get my jury vote because you were not honest with me. So also, they want to work the showmance angle with Michelle and tell her, like, the two showmances probably have a Final Four deal. You really want to be stuck alone with them because you're going to be on the outside of that. So they're going to push that. I think that is going to freak Michelle out a bit. We'll see, though, if she's even able to do anything about it because, like I said, she can't vote this week. So then, I mean, today, Natalie spent a lot of time complaining about Paul. He is not an option to go home this week, but she will not stop talking about him. And then, this was interesting. Michelle, like, goes into the HOH room crying, and she's nervous about what Corey and Nicole would possibly do next week if they were in power. So, I mean, it is kind of what Victor and Paul were talking about. Michelle is realizing she's outside of the two showmances. So, James and Natalie are trying to reassure her, everybody's going after Paul next week. You are not people's target. So, Michelle needs to realize, like, say Corey or Nicole win HOH, and they are going after Paul. Fine. But then what if Paul wins the veto? Somebody else is going to have to go, and they have this deal with James and Natalie, so they're probably going to go for Michelle. I'd be freaking out too. But James is like, well, if I win HOH, I'm going to put up Corey and Paul, and then if one of them comes off the block, Nicole will be the replacement nominee. Again, I don't know how serious he is about that, or if he's just trying to, like, make Michelle comfortable, but we'll see. So then Meech goes and cries to Nicole in the backyard. She's like, you don't like me, we don't hang out anymore, like, what's the deal with that? And she was also upset because she had heard that Nicole thought that she was going up this week, and she's like, why did you think that? And Nicole's trying to play it off like, oh, well, there was a 50-50 chance, like, it could have been me. But we know that James told her that Michelle wanted her out this week, so she didn't tell her that, but yeah, that's exactly what Natalie was afraid of earlier, and why she told James don't tell him that. But Michelle thinks that it was Paul that told Nicole, so that's not going to be good for Paul. But let me know what you guys think about everything that's going on right now. We've still got a few days left before the eviction. It's not looking good for Victor, but you never know what could happen. Also, we're going to have a player coming back this week, so it could be Victor coming back yet again. That would be so insane, and I would love to see it happen just because it would be crazy. But anyway, leave your comments below, and until tomorrow, much love.